Join us on a journey into one of the greatest aviation mysteries of our time, the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. Explore the details of the flight's last moments, the search efforts, and the myriad of theories that have emerged in an attempt to solve the puzzle of the lost plane. Takeoff and last conversation. On the 8th of March 2014, Malaysia Airlines operated 2 daily flights between Kuala Lumpur and Beijing, with Flight 370 scheduled to depart Kuala Lumpur at 12:35 a.m. and arrive in Beijing at 6:30 a.m. The flight was scheduled to take 5 hours and 34 minutes, and the aircraft being used was a Boeing 777 passenger jet that had enough fuel to remain in the air for 7 hours and 31 minutes. The airplane was 11 years old and had no previous mechanical issues reported. It was operated by a crew of 12 people, including 2 pilots, and carried 227 passengers, composed of citizens from 14 countries. The pilot in command, Zahari Ahmad Shah, was a 53-year-old with over 18,000 hours of flight experience and had been with Malaysia Airlines since 1981. His co-pilot was 27-year-old Fariq Abdul Hamid, who had been with the company for 7 years and had over 2,700 hours of flight experience. Flight 370 departed Kuala Lumpur at 12:42 a.m. and was cleared to climb to 18,000 feet in altitude. The first officer aboard the flight verbally communicated with air traffic control before the flight took off, and the captain was in communication with them just after taking off. At 1:06 a.m., the plane sent its last automated position report and final transmission. The last verbal contact with the flight occurred at 1:19 a.m. when Kuala Lumpur radar instructed the cockpit to switch to Vietnam's airspace. The head pilot, Captain Shah, responded with a simple, "Good night, Malaysian 370, lost to radar." The plane was flying over the Gulf of Thailand on its scheduled path when something strange happened. 3 minutes after making final contact with the outside world at 1:21 a.m., Flight 370 vanished from the radar screens in Kuala Lumpur and Ho Chi Minh City, indicating that the transponder on board was no longer working. Despite this, military radar was still capable of tracking the flight. What happened next was even more bizarre. The plane began to make a turn to the right, but then suddenly turned left to a southwesterly direction, flying directly back over the Malay Peninsula and fluctuating in altitude. It was detected to cross just south of Penang Island and then flew across the Strait of Malacca, with the last known location over the Indian Ocean at 2:22 a.m. Although it was lost to radar, the flight was still making satellite communications, responding to hourly status requests from Inmarsat. At 2:39 a.m., a phone call was made to the cockpit but went unanswered, and another call was made over 4 hours later, which also went unanswered. By 7:24 a.m., while still airborne, the flight was already 1 hour late past its scheduled arrival in Beijing. The Malaysian government announced that they had lost contact with the plane and mobilized search and rescue operations. However, unknown to them, MH370 was still flying. The last piece of data received from the plane happened at 8:19 a.m., which was a Logon request sent by the flight to Inmarsat. It had been flying for 7 hours and 38 minutes, and since it was only scheduled to fly for 5.5 hours, it's most likely that the plane had run out of fuel by this point. Inmarsat sent another status request at 9:15 a.m., but it went unanswered. Based on this fact, it's most likely that the plane crashed in the Indian Ocean between 8:19 and 9:15, but its exact location is still unknown. The disappearance and search efforts. The final communication with the flight was made at 8:19 a.m., indicating that the flight was somewhere west of Australia. Based on an analysis of satellite data, it was concluded that the plane made several sudden turns and flew across the Indian Ocean for over 5 hours before running out of fuel and crashing in a remote area west of Australia, thousands of kilometers away from any landmass. The search for the missing plane began immediately, with initial efforts focused on Southeast Asia. However, as more information became available about the plane's path, the search shifted to the Indian Ocean. Over 345 military aircraft sorties were conducted, covering an area of over 4.6 million square kilometers, larger than the entire country of India. In addition, a sonar search of the seafloor was conducted approximately 1,800 kilometers west of Perth, Australia, but it did not yield any significant results. In July 2015, over a year after the plane's disappearance, a wing flapper from MH370 was discovered washed up on the beach of Reunion Island, located about 4,000 kilometers west of the main search area. Further pieces of wreckage were later found along the coast of East Africa, but it wasn't until January 2017, nearly 3 years after the incident, that the official search for the flight was suspended after finding no other evidence of the plane's location. The search was conducted primarily by the governments of Malaysia, Australia, and China, and it became the most expensive search in aviation history, costing $155 million. In January 2018, a private U.S. company, Ocean Infinity, resumed the search for the plane in a 25,000 square kilometer area west of Australia, roughly the same size as Macedonia. However, as of March 2018, after searching a 33,000 square kilometer area around it, no additional wreckage or evidence was discovered. The theories surrounding the disappearance of MH370. The disappearance of MH370 remains one of the most perplexing and unsolved mysteries in aviation history, with many theories proposed but none able to offer conclusive answers. One of the earliest theories suggested that the plane was hijacked by 2 Iranian citizens on board with stolen passports. However, it was later concluded that the men were merely asylum seekers. Another theory proposed that the plane was hijacked and taken to a remote island, but no group ever claimed responsibility for this. There were also suspicions raised about the crew, especially the captain, but no definitive evidence has been found linking them to the incident. The most likely explanation for the sudden turns and long flight across the Indian Ocean is that someone in the cockpit manually reprogrammed the aircraft's autopilot and turned off the transponder. Additionally, there are suggestions that a fire or hypoxia event may have occurred on board, leading to the crew's unresponsiveness and the plane's flight path. Despite the various theories proposed, none of them offer a conclusive explanation for what happened to MH370. The families and friends of the passengers and crew continue to be left in the dark, and the aviation community is left to wonder whether the truth will ever be revealed. The Malaysian government conducted 170 interviews of friends and family of the crew, but they did not yield any significant findings. The FBI even analyzed data from Captain Shah's home flight simulator, but it too didn't uncover any incriminating evidence. American intelligence officers believe that someone in the cockpit manually reprogrammed the aircraft's autopilot before it took a turnout over the Indian Ocean and flew for 5 hours until it ran out of fuel. The theory goes that the crew was unresponsive or unconscious during this period, but it's still unclear what might have caused such a scenario. Another theory suggests that the plane experienced a fire, leading to the crew's unresponsiveness and the plane's erratic flight path. This theory gained momentum after an analysis of the timing of the satellite communications data revealed a power interruption mid-flight. It's unknown what might have caused the interruption, but it's been ruled out that it was an engine issue. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau has concluded that an unresponsive crew resulting from a potential cabin decompression event was the most likely explanation for when the plane flew for 5 hours straight across the Indian Ocean. If this happened, then everybody on board the flight would have been unconscious for hours up to when it crashed in the ocean. However, this is all purely speculative since the cause of the decompression event remains unknown. MH370's disappearance is a major aviation mystery, despite extensive search efforts and theories. No new evidence has been found since 2017, leaving families and friends in a state of uncertainty. That's all for this video. To ensure that you don't miss any of our new videos, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Until next time, take care. Thanks for watching.